It's Mom and Pop Video Shop.
Welcome back to Mom and Pop Video Shop. I am Joel.
And I'm Tyson.
And we are here with your regular weekly retro movie recommendation. That's how we do it.
I don't even think you got it right that time.
I know, but I'm trying to find some...
I legitimately can't remember.
You're getting it wrong. I'm trying to create variation.
Okay.
So...
Well, according to you, I can't get anything right. Like when I hold the tape up, I screw that up. Apparently I screw this up. Apparently it's a hostile freaking work environment here at Mom and Pop's.
There's a level of toxicity.
You are so toxic.
So we are covering in this episode a movie that if you're watching this on the day this episode dropped, I bet you can't guess what it is. Of course, it was also the thumbnail and the title and everything else. But that being said.
Good on you, though, for like planning this out that way, too, because I wouldn't have thought of this.
Yeah, I happened to just notice that.
Pretty cool.
As of today, when this drops, and if not, doesn't matter, you can watch this movie at any time. And it is 1986's April Fool's Day. On the back of the box, it reads as follows. When Muffy St. John, it's like the greatest 80s rich girl name ever. Muffy St. John.
Yes.
When Muffy St. John invited her college friends up to her parents' secluded island home for the time of their lives, she just forgot to tell them it just might be the last time of their lives. As soon as the kids arrive on the island, someone starts trimming the guest list, one murder at a time. And what starts out as a weekend of harmless April Fool's Day pranks turns into a bloody battle for survival. It's just what you'd expect from the producer who brought you Body Parts, Species, and Friday the 13th Part 3 through 5. And that would be referencing Frank Mancuso Jr. Although, didn't he do the earlier?
Did he do Part 5?
And more to the
As a
point.
Producer?
Yeah, he was a producer, but I'm saying, I thought he was involved like pretty much from the go. I think at least 2. I feel like his name was on... Because Amy Steele is in this, who was also in Friday the 13th Part 3, for those who don't know. And I could have sworn, maybe not.
Yeah, we might have to fact check that.
Who fact checked this shit?
So Fred Walton directed it. It stars, as I said, Amy Steele, and also Ken Olandt, or Olandt, how you say his name, who we referenced in our Leprechaun review some weeks back, closer to, obviously, St. Patrick's Day. So if you've never seen April Fool's Day, it would fall in the slasher movie genre.
It would.
It is a movie that I saw when I was young.
Holy shit, is it on right now?
It is actually playing in the background okay. on the classic console TV.
Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel!
So this is a movie that I saw when I was young. My cousin Chris probably rented it because he was my go-to for horror because he was like 5 years older than me and got all the good stuff. And I remember as a kid liking it. And then we covered it some years back on either Forgotten Flicks or Retro Movie Geek. I'm sure, Peter, if you're watching, you can correct me on that one. But I know we did, and I don't remember liking it as much. There's things about it I like. And I knew what the twists were going into it, which is weird because I think once you know that, your expectations change, right? You don't...
Yeah.
Because that's usually the gripe with this movie that anyone ever has, without giving anything away, but it is called April Fool's Day, is some of the twists.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's funny how they say it starts off as a week of like lighthearted pranks, except it's only a mild spoiler alert to say literally when they're on the ferry. Do you remember this? And they arrive at the island. The guy falls off the dock and the boat like crushes his face and his eyeballs hanging out of his head. And it's like, it's not light. Like there's nothing light about
It's really, it's light.
As a kid, when I saw this, I'm like 11, 12, dude. No, it wasn't light. I'm like,
I mean, if I had the means as an 11-year-old kid, that's the kind of prank I would pull.
We would do that now.
You are an evil, evil nerd.
So playing Muffy St. John is the great, amazing Debra Foreman. I'm a massive fan of hers. She's just been in so many great things. So, I mean, obviously Valley Girl comes to mind, Waxwork. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. It's like, there's all these people, like, as soon as I start to think, like, I want to mention all of her movies, I'm like, my brain locks up and...
So, how old are you?
This is one of those that, for whatever reason, I haven't seen it forever, but I get it mixed up with other, like Happy Birthday to Me. I feel like, and even like parts of Prom Night. Like when they're, you know what I mean?
I see.
A lot
I see how
of that
you
sort
could.
of blends together, and I think it's because it's, everybody started capitalizing on, hey, let's make a horror movie.
Yeah. By 1986, you would have thought somebody would have jumped on the April Fool's Day bandwagon, like that title, as a title for a slasher movie. My point is, it's a fun movie in its own right, but go in with the expectation of it just for fun.
It's a great video rental store kind of recommendation.
Yes.
If you're looking for that nostalgic, I'm grabbing some
Yes.
Dominoes and some Mountain Dew.
With
We're
80s practical effects.
We're heading to the basement. This is a great
Yes,
flick.
100%. So yeah, definitely check it out. April Fool's Day. For me, it's a 3-taper. I don't know that I would recommend it to keep out extra and spend extra money on it per se. But there are elements to it that make it definitely worth the rental and keeping it the full weekend. And probably watch it a couple times. I could see you doing that as a kid, especially since it's one of those movies that you want to rewatch it just to see maybe what you missed that led up to some of the twists and turns. Yeah, that's something to consider.
And you're probably wrong.
Leave comments below, but please, again, don't spoil the few twists and turns in this movie. But yeah, let us know. Do you like April Fool's Day? Have you seen it? Or the remake? I think it was like 2008. I've only ever seen clips in the trailer of that. It does not look good. It looks like your typical early to mid 2000s remake of a classic horror flick, and it just did not look great.
Lots of spray tan.
Lots of like WB
Spray
reject type of like level. it doesn't. It's so funny when you see the images from this movie compared to that movie, how much cheaper. I think that one made one straight to video too. This looks so much better.
Yeah,
like even though it was a relatively independent kind of movie. Although no, it was put out by Paramount, which also put out Friday the 13th. So maybe it really wasn't independent. Maybe it was actually a studio release. Either way, it looks good. So yeah, April Fool's Day. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, remember, at Mom and Pop's, our love of...
I'm going to break out of the horror mold.
Oh, do it.
And surprise you. Ready for this?
Yes.
Remo Williams. The adventure begins.
Never stops.
Mom and Pop's Video Show.